We're joined now by head coach Kevin Harris of University of Tulsa Rowing. And as you get ready for the fall season, it's coming up. And what are the expectations in the fall for your team?
Well, it's all about training, right? I mean, this is our time of year to get the things that we need for the spring right. It's the technique. It's the aerobic base that we need to go fast in the spring. And it's also about team building. You know, I am privileged to coach a really great group of student athletes here at Tulsa. And, you know, every year we want to bring them together and set the goals and expectations for what we're going to try and do at the conference championship in May.
All right, so your first matchup is in the head of the Oklahoma in Oklahoma City, coming up on the 2nd of October
2nd and
the 3rd.
Right.
What are you explain first of all for those that might be novice what the head race is. That's different than the race maybe they saw in the Olympics, right?
No, exactly right. So, you know, the Olympics or for our conference championship, we'll race side by side, right? Everybody starts at the same time, and then whoever finishes wins, right? Whoever wins finishes, whatever. In a head race, it's more like a time trial, right? So they line the boats up at the start, and each boat goes across the starting line at a 15-second interval, different from the boat in front of it. And then we have to wait basically until all the boats are done to know who has won the race. The fun of it is they're called head races because they're usually done in the narrowest parts of the rivers, right? The headwaters, if you will, of the rivers. And there's lots of twists and turns generally the further up the river that you get. So they're called head races, and you get to try and pass the people who are in front of you and also steer a great course. It's really a coxswain's race.
So if you are passing somebody, that means
It's a good sign.
You're 5 minutes ahead of them, right? You're starting to pass
that's what
boat.
you want, yeah.
And you've had great success at the head of the Oklahoma.
Yeah, the head of the Oklahoma has been a great race for us. You know, usually we do pretty well in the 8s and the 4s. We also use Sunday to row small boats, so pairs, singles, and then we have a little bit of fun sometimes, and we'll drop into the quad, which is 2 oars with 4 women in each boat. Now that's not a race that we get to race very much, so anytime it's fast, right? It's almost as fast as racing an 8. So whenever we can get into it and have some fun with it, we try and do that.
Absolutely, and that is obviously coming up next, because that's your first thing. And then the second thing you have on the schedule is the Tulsa Invitational, which is November 6th in Catoosa.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, we've been a little bit affected, I think, in the fall, all of the college teams by COVID, right? That's still kind of the elephant in the room. I think UCO is going to come up, and we're still trying to work on who else is going to attend the regatta. But definitely it will be UCO and us, and we're just going to have some fun with it. It's more of a friendly sort of fall way to end our competition to get ready for the spring. So we're looking forward to that.
As you build this team now, last year was an issue for everybody.
Yeah.
We all went through the COVID and that sort of thing, and it's lessened. You still do have some effects of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But where is the program right now? What are you looking to build as you really gather lots of performers?
Well, you know, Bruce, in 2020 we lost 11 seniors, right? So that was a big blow. I thought last year the team did a really fantastic job of recovering from that and sort of setting itself a baseline. So this year we're going to try and up that baseline. We're going to take the new women who've come into the program. We still have a few who will be joining us in January, and we're going to try and make that next step. Nobody likes finishing 3rd in the conference. That's not the goal.
Right.
And these women are working incredibly hard to make sure that's not going to happen this year. So the fall, what we're going to try and do coming out of the fall is row incredibly well and then start working even harder when we get to the winter.
Now, it sounds like a plan. Now, obviously in the summer, it was excitement revolving around the TU rowing program. Michelle Sexer, who was just tremendous for you many, many years ago. She's a veteran. She ends up going to the Olympics in the double sculls, the double twos, and so she ended up finishing 5th for the U.S. team and almost got a medal. Proud of her and proud of Jennifer Casson as well on the Canadian team.
Yeah, that's right. And of course they raced each other in the lightweight women's double in Tokyo. Michelle missed winning a goal by 1 second. She was less than basically a 1/10 of a second off the podium. It was an incredibly close race. There's she said it herself that if you had asked her and her partner a year ago if that was the race that they would have told you they would have been glad to have been in it. And I think that they did everything that they could for the United States, and it was amazing as one of her former coaches to watch her go through that. Jenny Casson also had a tremendous race. I mean, they struggled a little bit in the B final trying to get to where they wanted to be. But the fact that she was there, that was a lifelong dream for her, right? To see her in that Canadian uniform on the line at the Olympics. And that says a lot about our team, right? Like we know, it's kind of like when we talk about our football team or our basketball team or our soccer team, we know that at Tulsa, we can help those athletes get to that elite level. If the people want to come here and do the work and be in this environment that's a heavily academic environment, heavy athletic environment, we can get them there. And I'm just so proud as a team and as a coach to watch those women do that.
Well, Coach, congratulations on that, certainly, and good luck coming up in Oklahoma City.
Thank you.
That is the head coach of the Golden Hurricane, Kevin Harris, TU Women's Rowing.